Hey!
Welcome. Hello, everyone. Super Mac David Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us live. We appreciate it. This is Let's Talk Comics, the show where we talk about all the newest comic books of the week. But actually, gang, we're going to take a little sidestep for a second. If you're watching live in the video, you notice we have a special guest with us. Hello.
What up?
How's it going?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Mr. Samuel? Samson.
Samsonite.
Humphries.
Samsonite. Yes, I invented the suitcase.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, not just the Samsonite suitcase, but the suitcase.
The suitcase. I am the
Yeah,
inventor of the suitcase.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
That probably worked out pretty okay for you.
Yeah, it did okay. It did okay. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
But on to the next.
And which is comics. So,
Exactly. Yes.
You are a writer for Marvel, DC. You work over at Image sometimes. You will tip your hat over there if you'd like to.
Absolutely.
And you have a new comic coming out. We want to kind of dive in and talk about that.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So over at DC, we just got the introduction of the Wonder Comics line. Yeah. So you have your Young Justice, you've got your Naomi, you've got your Wonder Twins. But wait a second, there's one more.
There's there's a fourth.
There's a fourth.
Bring up the rear. Yeah, what's that?
That is Dial H for Hero, which is so exciting. So this is actually a new concept for me. I was unaware of it before they announced Wonder Comics. Like I mean, besides like Bendis started like putting the Dial into his like action comics, and I was like, oh, cool, that's fun. Having a good time. But then I started looking into it, and I am 100% on board. But quick elevator pitch: what is Dial H for Hero?
Dial H for Hero is about a magic dial that if you spin the dial to spell Hero, you get transformed into a seemingly random superhero for an hour.
For just an hour.
For just an hour.
That's really cool.
I was reading some of the materials about this series, and it was very conspicuous how it said seemingly, and then you said seemingly also in a very conspicuous way.
Interesting.
I didn't notice that at all.
Okay, all right. I don't know. I just thought I'd point that out. I knew of Dial H. However, my first real exposure to the concept was in New 52. They did a very brief run.
Yes.
With the character. How does your run, like, what's the tone compared to previous takes on the H dial?
The tone is very different from the New 52 one, which was great.
Yeah.
But practically like a Vertigo series in tone.
Yeah.
And it's less straightforward superhero than the 80s version with Marv Wolfman. And it's much more modern in take than the original Silver Age run as well.
Okay.
And one thing... I'm doing this book with Joe Quinones, the artist, and Jordan Gibson, the colorist. And one of the things we're doing with this book is that every time a character uses the H dial to transform themselves, the comic transforms as well.
So I'm really glad you said it because I wanted to ask because I heard that and I was like, that's impossible.
No.
That sounds absolutely insane. And I'm so on board. What do you have like an example? Or are we gonna have to wait?
Well, did you saw the preview pages?
Yeah, I saw the preview pages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got a little glimpse of what that's going to be like. So when you see Miguel, the main character, use the H dial in the preview pages, he transforms into Monster Truck, this superhero, and the art style itself changes into a very 90s Image Comics vibe.
Love
That's
it.
just the tip of the iceberg of that. It's
So-
not always that style. Different superheroes will have different styles. Some issues will have more than one superhero. That's more than one style.
I love it. That makes me so happy. So when it came to creating the different heroes, I know that there were different heroes in the past associated with the H dial. Did you just blank slate, start from scratch, or did you look at some of the original H dial heroes and like try and repurpose some of those?
Blank slated it.
Nice.
Because I wanted the heroes this time around to be more like we were talking about random earlier before.
Yes.
A lot of the ones in the original Silver Age run were a lot of fun, but they're like Bullet Man. You know, they almost seem like soft pitches for a superhero who might get their own book one day or whatever.
Yeah.
These are superheroes that could never, ever, ever get their own books. And we're having a lot of fun with that.
Man,
Yeah,
I don't know.
because, like,
you
if they're
kind of sold me
only-
on Monster Truck. I don't know, man. I don't know.
If they're only around for an hour, if they're only around for an issue or whatever, might as well have the craziest superheroes possible.
I love it.
And it all started with this list I had of crazy superhero names. So I just started with the wildest names and came up with powers and backstory and narration style and all that kind of stuff for each one.
That's amazing.
So I saw a cover that Nick Tarrington put out for issue 1.
Very cover.
Oh my god!
I mean, amazing.
I mean, I love Nick Darrington.
Yeah.
Dick Narrington.
Dick Narrington.
There you go.
Nick Narrington, PI.
His, I'd read it. He's one of the heroes. And those were a throwback to the original, some of the original heroes that had popped out of the dial, correct?
Yes.
On his covers. So that's very cool. And it's amazing that you get to kind of have a blank slate. When it came to this comic, was it something that you pitched to them when you heard that, hey, Wonder Comics coming down the line? You know what? I have a Dial H story that you wouldn't believe. And I got the whole thing right here. Or were you kind of approached by DC to kind of helm this? Because I'll tell you really quick, Green Lanterns. I'm a very big fan of that.
Thank you very much.
I mean, Grant Morrison stuff. It's really fun what they're doing right now. I do miss all the Green Lantern books.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Dial H for Hero was actually it came from Bendis because he knew about the Wonder Comics stuff early, and he's like, "There's gonna be something really good for you in there." And I was like,
Nice.
"Great, like whatever it is, just count me in." And then later he's like, "It's Dial H for Hero," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Like, what?
Like,
What are
really?
you talking about?
And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I guess." And then like a week later, he was like, "No, really, Dial H for Hero." And I was like, "Okay, like tell me about it. I guess I don't know."
So how did you know Bendis prior to this? Where was your
We worked together at Marvel.
Nice.
That's where we first met.
Yeah.
So we're good friends. And he, when I made the move to DC, he and I talked a lot about it.
Nice.
When he made the move to DC, we talked a lot about
So
it.
it's you. You're the one that made it happen.
I'm taking all the credit for Brian Michael Bendis' career.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
That's
there.
cool.
Throwing that out there.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. No, it was so it was early on. We were talking about what some of the things that he was excited about. Should he make the move to DC? And talking about young heroes and all that kind of stuff was definitely in the mix. So I was not surprised when they settled on the aim of Wonder Comics for his imprint.
Something I've been really loving about Wonder Comics is it feels like such a breath of fresh air in that it's like a reminder, like, hey, what if, crazy idea, what if we made comics for young people again instead of like disaffected 30-year-olds? And it's like, it seems like a no-brainer because that's how most of us got hooked into comics was when we were young.
Or just making comics that are fun.
Yeah.
That are about young people, but not young people who talk like they're disaffected 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
Everybody was young once, right?
Yeah.
So you can write stories about young people that can appeal both to young people and disaffected 30-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's great. Young Justice is obviously a reminder of that series. Wonder Twins is just kind of like a teen comedy, and it's cool. Like it's a great opportunity to do stories that people haven't been doing and really comics need. I think
and Naomi too.
Yeah.
A completely different book.
And that's really refreshing as well. I like that it's a genuine mystery. It's like you get a glimpse of like Superman or some other like supernatural element, but it's like, what if we just get to explore this young girl's life in this like small little town? Like maybe there's a mystery, maybe there's not. Like we've talked about it on here where it's like it's leading to a big grand adventure, but also what if she's just normal too? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, it's cool to see. Like, I like that so far it could be either. It's probably going to be like a big story. But hey, we don't know.
So
it's probably gonna be really boring.
Snoozer, really.
Looking at that constellation of books, Dial H it kind of fits in. Is it kind of like the speed dating of classic superhero? Like you get a little everything.
Hello.
Now I'm taking a picture of you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, everybody watching at home. Dial H is more like you've got two teens who are stuck in a small town in California and they hate it, and they get this object which is kind of like the world's greatest hot rod to them.
Love
it's
it.
the H dial.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, what if you were given not just the ticket out of your town, but also like the craziest, most dangerous weapon of all time? So you've got all this freedom at once and all this responsibility at once.
Nice. Perfect.
And nothing could go wrong.
Yeah. What
nothing
could
can go
possibly
wrong.
go wrong?
Sounds super
And
safe.
it really is. It's like such a love letter to comic books because every issue we are paying homage to a style of comics or a branch of comics or a discipline of comics from a different country, you know?
Yeah, I love that's really cool because it is interesting when you look at the way people use the medium in different parts of the world. It's very different.
And Joe is amazing. Joe's work is obviously great and people love Joe's work.
Yeah.
People are not prepared for what Joe has in store for them. People have never seen Joe work like this, like such a chameleon. Everybody knows Joe's style and loves Joe's style, but Joe's got like 12, 14, 20, 50 styles in him just waiting to come out. It's amazing.
So without spoiling, do you have a favorite so far? Do you have a favorite of the different styles you've been able to play with? You talked about Monster Truck. Is there one that you're like, you can't wait to get back to?
The one I'm writing right now, the issue I'm writing right now, has a collision of 3 styles.
Cool.
And they could not be, I'm not going to tell you what they are.
That's fine.
But they could not be 3 more disparate styles.
Love it.
And they all appear not just in the same comic, not just on the same page, but in the same panel as well.
It's amazing.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
All right, I got to be careful because we have some questions. But last thing I wanted to ask is about Miguel, our main character.
Yes.
And so when it came to Miguel's creation, is that from you? Is that kind of from Bendis? Or like what
Miguel was me.
Very
Miguel
cool.
was me, and also talking with Joe a lot. I had sort of had the seed of Miguel, and we talked about Miguel a lot, and came up with a character that we both related to.
Yeah.
And a character that we thought we could both have fun with. There's a little bit of like Speed Racer in him.
Love it.
From the Wachowski movies.
I like that movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
I like that movie a lot.
The Speed Racer Defender has logged on.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. So, but just a lot of that, some of that angst and daring, and like I said, the hot rod aspect.
Yeah.
This is a couple kids who've gotten the keys to the greatest thrill ride of all time.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go for it.
You know, I love that pitch too. Like as a hot rod, that idea immediately incites just excitement because it's like every kid wants to kind of take their parents' car out for like a ride, even though it's like why please don't do that. But like and now you amp it up to basically it's not a hot rod, it's a nuke, and they get to play with it. And they get to,
or it's not your parents' ride, it's Superman's ride.
Yeah.
It's not just his ride, it's his powers, right? Yeah.
That's so cool. So we have some questions here.
Great. What's up, y'all?
We have here in our Discord shout out. You can join it by being part of the Patreon. Don't miss out.
All right.
This is from Echo Spider, kind of going back to Green Lanterns for a second because I know Danny M is actually watching live. Thank you so much for joining us.
What's up?
Question for
Danny?
Sam. Love your work with Green Lantern. Which other color of the emotional spectrum would you like to explore and why? Thanks. Turquoise.
Turquoise, absolute paisley.
Periwinkle.
Yeah.
Paisley would be amazing.
We had a storyline with the Red Lanterns that we never got to follow up on. I would love to do more with that. But I really would love to go back and do the Volthoom storyline.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a blast.
Thank you, and it was great, and it came to a conclusion. But it was really half of a planned Volthoom storyline.
Interesting.
Because at the end, you know all about the 7 original Green Lantern rings, and you know that they're out there, and you know they're dangerous, and both Volthoom and the Green Lantern Corps are trying to find them at the same time. And I know where those 7 rings are.
Nice. Do you think that's something you'll ever be able to revisit?
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Especially because
I mean, it's comics. Anything's possible.
anything's possible. But we didn't stop the story because it wasn't a popular story. We stopped the story because I was going to Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
With a stop to Nightwing in between.
Yeah.
So it was. It's something that people ask about a lot. People ask about Volthoom a lot. I loved writing Volthoom. There's more to tell about Volthoom. And I loved writing Simon and Jessica. I would definitely go back and write them again.
I miss Simon. He's not in stuff right now, and I'm bummed.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in meetings to somebody like, hey, I thought about, and you put a knife to their like, don't you leave that for me.
I would love the character. I would love that if the characters still had their own book.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Cam Senses, and it kind of ties back to Wonder and the larger DC continuity. Will Wonder mainly keep to itself, or will we see characters from outside the Wonder imprint crossover in Dial H? And also just the wider comics as well. Do you think there's any, like, down the horizon, do you see anything, like any kind of possible crossovers?
Wonder Comics is 100% in DC continuity. So when you see Tim Drake in the Robin suit, that's in continuity. When you see some of the guest stars we have in Dial H, that's in continuity.
Great.
When you see the mystery that Naomi's unraveling, it's a big mystery, that's all in continuity as well.
Great. That's really cool. I like that aspect a lot, but it uses continuity in basically the perfect way where it's in continuity, but also it kind of doesn't matter. Like it doesn't, like it's not, unless it does, it's just this kind of like, you don't need to have a ton of, need to have the DC encyclopedia in your back pocket to be able to follow the book, you know? And I think that's a good way to execute like sometimes when you read a book and it's like, actually, if you go back in this book from 20 years ago, and then that reference is like, come on, man, help me out here, you know?
If you've never read Dial H for Hero before, you don't need to enjoy these issues. Yeah.
But
it does feel like Wonder Comics is like just a nice introduction. And actually, I bought the first 3 issues of those so far of Young Justice, Wonder Twins, and Naomi for my nephew, who is
that's amazing.
Yeah, he turns 9 this year. That's crazy. But his dad's a big comic book fan and bought him his own long box. But he's just been putting toys in there. So so we need he was like he wants
make
to read.
room toys.
Oh, yeah. Room. So I'm like, and as soon as he saw like, oh, there's young Superman and there's young Flash, he's like, cool. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And he's a big Flash fan, and so he's my favorite nephew.
And I think that's the really appealing thing about it, because hopefully you want young people to be able to look at Miguel and have that be their guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like again, you want to have it's great. All the more adult whatever comics are great, but it's good to be able to get all ages and all interests in there as well.
Okay, so we have one more question I want to read from Super Mac, who is watching live as well. So shout out.
Super Mac.
Question from Mr. Samuel Humphries. First, love DC Daily. Shout out.
Yeah.
DC Universe app. You better all have it. God dang it.
Streaming platform. Sign up now.
Second, what are some of the craziest hero transformations you think? You can think of that might not make it into the book. Now, what I'm guessing, my question is to kind of take from this and kind of extrapolate a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think you have any limitations for what you can do, or do you get to have as much fun as possible when it comes to this book?
I don't. I mean, obviously, you can't have like, the baby killer or whatever. Like, there's limits in that, but
you were going down your list. You're like, that one, maybe not for this book. Yeah.
Superhero made entirely of heroin.
No.
Could this be commentary?
But that's the other thing too, is that this is a fun book, so we're going for crazy transformations. We're going for crazy superheroes again, like superheroes that you would never really have the opportunity to see anywhere else. So that's the aim right there. I don't think we have limitations, but we do have a focus.
Fantastic.
Nice. That's
so,
really cool.
And the first issue, what's the release date on that coming?
March 27th.
There it is.
Wednesday, March 27th.
That's fantastic. So go pick it up. Go reserve it if you can at your local comic book shop, because it's going to be a blast. Is there any current books that you keeping your eye out for that you're a big fan of that you're reading right now?
Oh, man. Yeah. The Wildstorm.
Oh, yeah.
By Warren Ellis and John Davis Hunt. That, for my money, that's DC's best book right now.
It's
so
beautiful.
good.
That is the best book that DC is doing right now.
Most recently, I read the issue where it's like Midnighter and Apollo like going full force, and wow, that was super cool. I was just like, I was reading it, I'm like, I don't know how else to describe this besides like this is amazing.
Very sick.
Steve Orlando did the Midnighter and Apollo book a couple years ago, and I was a big fan of that. But the art style in this, I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm so happy.
And John Davis Hunt is incredible. I was lucky enough we did 2 pages together in Harley issue 50, the Jam issue. We did an Adam Strange 2-pager.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. It was great. Adam Strange is a sitcom.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to be picking up Dial H for Hero. I also picked up Wonder Twins this week. It's issue 2. And man, it's so weird, and it's just they're having so much fun. And the idea of using the supercomputer as like the third sidekick. Like, I'm like, it's such a confusing character.
The 4th sidekick, don't forget about the monkey, dude.
Oh, don't forget about the monkey.
Come on.
I mean, to be fair, he's brand new. He's in there. I'm excited to see him kind of shake it up. The usual formula. But I love this weird little corner of just the Hall of Justice. I'm not going to call it the universe. It's just a little.
Yes.
It's just like the broom closet that the Wonder Twins like hang out in.
Yeah.
And that last question, they mentioned DC Daily. How are things going over there?
DC Daily is fantastic. Thank you. The show is just so much fun. And you guys know some of the people I work with.
Yes.
Some of my other co-hosts. We just have the greatest time. Every episode we shoot is so much fun.
That's amazing.
I think we just recently, they're about to go, we did a book club with Batman Hush.
Nice.
Which is like a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the greatest Batman stories ever told. But we had so much fun talking about this book. It was just like laughing so hard. We were not reverent about it anyway, which I think is the way to do it. It wasn't like masterpiece theater. Yes, like we just dove in and talked about the parts that we loved, and like Whitney Moore's on it, and she's talking about like the fan film she made when she was in high school.
I saw her post a clip of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was just like,
oh yeah.
So every segment we do, like, no matter what the topic is, and it's always DC, but no matter what the topic is, we just have so much fun, and it's on every day. We're over 100 episodes already. We blew past 100 episodes a long time ago.
When you said that, it's DC, I just imagined one person flipping through that, like, wait, This is a lot of DC content. Hold on a second. Like, wait, what's going on here?
What is this app called?
Wait a second.
DC.
There you
Oh, DC.
Really quick question from old Sam on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And if you can, do you have you had a favorite prop that's come in from like a DC film or TV show, or not? I wouldn't say favorite guest, but the guest where you kind of couldn't help but freak out just a tiny bit, because I know you've had a good helping of
a lot
creators on there.
Second question I'll take first. I did an interview with Marv Wolfman.
Nice.
Marv Wolfman. There's some Teen Titans stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's in
there
there
somewhere. Yeah. Love Marv Wolfman's work. He's just the nicest guy. We've met before, but I kind of like reintroduced myself again.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm Sam Humphries. He's like, oh, hi, Sam. I was like, I write Harley Quinn and Nightwing. I'm not just here. He goes, oh no, I know who you are. And I almost fell right over, just down on the ground,
so cool.
down like a pile of bricks. But he was it was a lot of fun to interview him. We talked about his Man and Superman book, which is really great.
Very cool.
Yeah. In terms of props.
Costume.
Yeah, people who don't watch the show may not know that the backdrop. We have full access to the Warner Brothers archives.
That's amazing.
So we get all sorts of crazy stuff. We had all the Aquaman costumes and props for a while there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
We had Mr. Freeze's ice ray gun from Batman
the best Batman
Robin
movie.
Classic. Yeah.
We have the George Clooney batsuit right now.
Amazing.
Actually, the batsuits we have right now are Keaton, Kilmer, and Clooney.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh,
all line up all right next to each other.
I have very fond
So you
memories of
got,
Batman
like-
Forever. I have very fond memories of Batman Forever.
Of all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. They're
Of them,
amazing.
yeah.
Wait, I'm just to remember in my head, the Clooney one has all like kind of like besides bat nips, they have like it has like the white like finishes and stuff on it, right? Like the bigger bat suit. It has like
That's for the
white
climax of the movie.
Yeah,
when they have to-
sorry.
I mean,
That's
come
where
on.
they got to
yeah.
do the final suit up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm
We have the
embarrassed.
gunmetal gray suit.
There you go.
But it's crazy because these are the actual suits that they wore.
Still smells like them.
Hey, I know. I was like, oh, it smells like tequila. It's got to be Clooney.
Yeah.
Oh, Casamigo Silver. Oh, yes. But it's like cool to like, and then you like look down and you're like, oh, the bat boots for Keaton were actually spray painted Air Jordans.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty.
Because
I don't remember ever seeing his
just-
feet. Yeah.
Exactly, because Michael Keaton, he's gonna be standing all day.
Yeah.
He does have his support. Like the boots, are probably just separate shots if you ever saw them. I don't know.
Exactly. We'd have to go back frame by frame just to see.
I guess we got to watch those movies.
I guess we gotta watch it. Oh, we might as well watch all four. Like, okay, all right. But my favorite prop was we got the giant metal rubber ducky that Penguin drove in Batman Returns.
Jeez.
That was a fun one because we all got to go and sit in there and take pictures in there a million times, which is great. So
That's crazy. Where do they store that stuff? Is there like a bunker
What's the
underground?
address?
Like
Sam Levine went, and I actually don't know. I don't know
Okay.
where it is. It's got to be somewhere close.
Yeah.
But, it's probably like just some like Raiders of the Lost Ark looking warehouse.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's not just like the Batman movies or Justice League or whatever. It's all of Warner Brothers history in there.
Jeez.
And most of the time, they're just doing their job of restoring and protecting and cataloging and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
These are pieces these people love, but never see the light of day. This is their job to love them, right?
Yeah.
So when our people go in, it's like shopping, and they can't wait to let these things get shown off.
Yeah.
We have full run of the place because they're like, yes, show these pieces. Nobody sees these pieces. Show them off. Put them on TV. Let everybody love them.
I just got this vision of a guy pulling out a crate, and then the classic, you blow the dust off and open it like, this is the Shazam costume from the 60s live action show.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Not far from that vibe.
Yeah.
Not too far. Yeah.
I would, if you got a hookup, I know two guys who wouldn't mind going. Just saying.
Yeah.
But hey,
I haven't even gotten the invite yet.
Yeah.
But I'll let you
Well,
know.
all three
I'll
go.
let you
There you
know.
go.
Yeah,
Boy
exactly.
day.
yeah, we'll be over there in 10 minutes. I promise. We'll get there. So it doesn't matter where we are. We'll be there in 10.
When you're
I'm
walking,
in New York, but I'll be there in
There
time.
will be
when you're like casually walking through the DC Universe offices and they're talking about their shows, you're like, have you heard about this comic called Dial H? Maybe for the next DC Universe live action.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah.
whisper.
Just want to mention. Yeah.
Be like, cool cell phone. What if that turned into a superhero? Huh?
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, you think about that? Huh?
Sounds like a pretty good animated series if I've ever heard.
We're big fans of the DC Universe app. We're loving Doom Patrol right now. Big fans of Young Justice.
Doom Patrol is incredible, right?
It's the last 2 episodes have been
so good.
like it's basically a Grant Morrison comic come to life.
Yes,
and it brought me nothing but joy.
But also the Gerard Way and Nick Darrington one. Sorry, Dick Narrington.
Yeah, we got to get it. We got to let's get it
Dick
right.
Darrington is the artist. Dick Narrington solves the mysteries.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's got, and also the original like Arnold Drake Doom Patrol. It's got flavors of that too.
Yeah.
Like that guy, I forget his name, but he was like a supporting character. He went down to Paraguay. The doctor who was at the bus stop, and at the end you see him, and he's got like the T-Rex head.
Yes.
Like,
that was
the tree branches an arm. I was like, oh, haha, that's so funny.
surprising.
They just like threw the book at him. They're like, let's put a dinosaur on it. And then Hector Navarro, you guys know, my co-host on the show, he pulled out his omnibus, and that's an old character from the Silver Age with the dinosaur head and the tree and everything. I was like, God, they're really mining the history for the show.
Yeah, I was the same. I saw it. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then online, I started seeing people post. I'm like, oh my god, that was actually a thing. That's great. It's just it's such a it's so much fun. I love what they're doing over there, and I'm very excited for Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing's gonna be great. James Wan, Stargirl's gonna be incredible. The Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah,
James
really
Wan
good.
is attached to Swamp Thing. I totally forgot about that.
He
Oh my
is.
god, I'm so excited.
Dude is busy, man. Yeah.
Stargirl 2.
Yeah.
And Young
Joel
Justice
McHale's in that?
Outsiders is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So far,
Um,
I
I know we're only halfway through that season.
Yep.
I cannot wait for more.
Cyborg's getting his due with the DC Universe app, and I'm a big Cyborg
really is.
fan.
Oh,
so
good.
I also just really quick to Doom Patrol. I'm so impressed. Like, I'll be honest, nervous about Practical Cyborg because they did it on Smallville,
Right.
and it was like X-ray vision. Let's see all the mechanics on the inside, but he looks like a normal dude.
Yeah.
Agents of Shield did the same thing with Deathlock, and I was like, come on, show it. And it looks. I like it. I
It
like
looks
the
really
way he
cool.
looks.
You know, and the practical effects, like it looks heavy on him. You know, like you look at it and you're like, oh, I get the feeling of what that would feel like physically to have all this metal attached to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've got all those shows. You got DC Daily. It's really good.
Go watch
Thank
it
you.
daily.
Every day, a daily news show
So
all
wait,
about DC Comics.
every weekday
And
or every day?
Every weekday. Every
Okay,
weekday.
all right,
5
all
days a week.
Not crazy.
Not just the DC Comics, but the movies, the TV show, the toys. We get statue sculpts before anybody else sees them. Like it'll be on the table. It'll be like, oh, this is so cool. Like before shooting, like we're looking at the bottom, and it's like 1 of 5,000. It's like the first one. Yeah. So we get all sorts of cool
And
stuff that we
sometimes
get
they
to
just
show
go
off.
home with you. It's just I
don't know how that happened.
Who's
I
to
don't know.
say?
Hey,
Exactly.
last time we shot at DC with you when we were doing a little debate show, somehow a firestorm came back with
Oh,
us.
Yeah, who's that? I mean,
what a score!
When did that come? I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
It's the only statue
Just
I have, and it's
appeared.
really cool.
So you got DC Daily,
Yep.
you got Dial H.
Dial H for
I
Hero.
believe you're telling us the last issue, the first arc of Blackbird,
That's
just
correct.
dropped. If you go to the
Yep.
comic shop today, you can probably pick that up.
It'll be out there, yeah.
Yeah, what else you got
from
going
Image
on?
Comics with my co-creator Jen Bartel.
Yes. Love it.
And,
Beautiful art.
Yeah, amazing art, and the trade ships in May.
Cool.
So the first trade ships in May. We're very excited. This first arc took us to some pretty wild places, and the response online has been really huge. People really going there with us, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been very gratifying. We're very excited about it. And then we have Harley Quinn,
you
of
go.
course.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is continuing. Lots of crazy things coming up for Harley Quinn and the rest of the DC universe that I cannot say out loud. But Harley's going great, and I'm doing Goliath Girls over at Comixology.
Very cool.
Digital first book with my co-creator Ulti from Insaya, and that is about 3 best friends who raise their own giant monster.
Of course.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm doing 4 books right now and the Daily Show.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The question was, what else you got going on? I think more. It's like, do you have free time?
Enough.
Yeah. Do you have do you have time to sleep?
I have time to come hang out.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And also, where can they follow you on Twitter? If they wanna...
Find me at Sam Humphries on Twitter. Very creative username, I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And gang, just a little tease for you guys. New projects coming out from old Sam and DJ, your 2 dads. So make sure you keep an eye out on our social media at Sam Basher
At DJ Talks Trash.
and at Only Stupid Answers.
You ain't got the mouse from stupid.
Boom. And gang, we're going to be doing another live program right here on Patreon at 2 p.m. PST on Friday, so make sure you tune in live for that. We're going to be talking about other non-Disney animated properties, and that's going to be a blast. So we'll see you then, but until then, stay hydrated or something else encouraging. Bye-bye.
Bye. See y'all.